kind of angry fox. So we know the facial structure is actually going to be, you don't want it to be too mean. You get too mean, you're gonna scare kids. And let's face it, being a fursuiter, you are gonna, I know that maybe you're intent, but being a fursuiter, you're going to run into children, and trust me, if you've ever actually done it, you feel horrible when you've terrified a 5-year-old into running, screaming for his mommy. Unless it's Halloween and that's different, you usually feel pretty darn bad because, you know, those little kids look at you're a life-size cartoon character. You are real to them. And when you go grr and snap at them, it's horrible. When you scare them and they just go crying their little hearts out.
That happens.
Okay, yes it does. Okay, so we're gonna make it a little bit. All this has an effect on where we're going to, and I'm gonna actually start this over, how we're gonna place the facial features. So we're gonna make him, that is horrible.
The kid came up and he tapped me on the back and I turned around. He looked at my face.
Oh, okay, you didn't actually mean to scare him, you just did anyway.
No, I had this kid who carried a conversation with me while crying. Because he wanted to meet me, but he didn't want to come near me. And he was scared, so he cried while carrying on a conversation with me.
He's like,
I was like, no.
okay, so we know there should be, I rarely ever see these snarly foxes, so we're just gonna, typically all you're ever gonna see in a fursuit is the lower teeth. Just the way the jaw drops. That's typically, with any animal, typically all you're ever gonna see is lower teeth. The only time you ever see upper teeth is like when a wolf, when they've got their lips curled back. Werewolves, yes, you like that. When they curl their lips back, that's the only time we're really gonna see upper fangs, unless you are some kind of saber tooth or primeval species. Then you're gonna have like fangs out the wazoo. So.
Or dragon.
Or dragon, and there are exceptions to every rule. All right, but we know because this is a mean fox, the ears should not be up. Notice Edie's ears are pointing up. Okay, ears are in the animal kingdom. That's a very big communicator with ears. The positioning of the ears says a lot. So, when you're kind of angry, we're gonna. That was nice. We're gonna kill the ears. Exactly. We're gonna kill the ears off to the side here. Okay, which looks a lot more threatening than if they were perked forward in interest. Okay. Big difference between that and Mr. Happy Fox, whose eyes are very bright, very cheery, uplifted eyebrows. Always put eyebrows on your suit, unless you are going extremely realistic. Always put eyebrows on there. Your head's gonna look naked without them. It just, you won't be able to tell what's wrong, you just know something's wrong. Big difference between that and this. And believe it or not, you can actually change the expression just by bringing down the eyebrows. Big difference there. All right, so we know you have Sly Fox, he's kind of a mean fox. Let's say he wants to be different. He's going to be a 5-tailed kitsune.
Of course. Of
course. Of course.
Of course.
You do get multiple tailed foxes.
Don't do it.
Thing. I hate the multiple tail.
Yeah, I know.
Is the worst.
Unfortunately, from a maker standpoint, yes, it can be very, very difficult because you have a very small space to work from right here. Having to connect each individual one of those tails becomes a really big pain. I had a 2-tailed wolf at one point. I will never do double tails again, ever. They're just too difficult to deal with.
Why do you even need 2 tails?
I was actually doing a cosplay character, and the character actually did have 2 tails, so I was following the character's reference. So
I agree with you way too early.
Sorry.
Single tails are a whole lot easier. Okay. You know what? Let's be really neat. Sly decides halfway through this he's going to be a hybrid.
Oh, of course he's going to be a
hybrids are the new husky.
Of course it is.
No, huskies are
What?
Husky's the new husky. Husky's the new fox.
Is he going to be a fox?
No, we're going to be.
He's going to be a dragon.
Dragon fox.
No, dragon husky. Dragon husky.
Wow.
No, you got to give him horns, and now he's going to have scales on his belly. It's going to be.
Well, it's pretty typical, but you just by adding little features here and there, you can actually make them really unique. So he's going to be a purple. He's now a fox dragon.
Purple. Make it blue.
Blue? Okay, doesn't really matter on color. All right, actually, tell you what, let's take blue. Blue can actually be very difficult to work with.
I'm not
Okay?
saying, well, I make him purple. We already know where he's swimming. Like, we don't need
It's a
to-
fox. Do we even need to
that's
ask?
what I'm saying. There's,
All right,
we
so
don't
we
have to
know,
go
here
for
are
it.
the
resents
basic
that
character
remark.
plan. We know we have our basic character shape. This is always how I start with my designs.
It's okay. Yeah,
We're not
we'll
picking on
later.
foxes in general. Okay. This is your basic character shape. Okay? We know we have the ears here. He's gonna have horns. That's gonna be the eyes. He's gonna have kind of mean face. All right. Being his part dragon, he's gonna have spines. We're getting these little stupid vestigial wings.
Even when she's sketching, she drops that cross.
Oh, this is just really rough. This is my like.
No, really rough.
All right, now mind you, when I'm designing, and this is particular to me, I see other some artists do it. Notice there is no arm here. I give it a little circle and an X. This is where the shoulder would be. The reason I do this is because, and my laptop is shut off on me.
I told you.
Stop doing that.
This probably looks-
Ow, piff! I thought the sideshow would just keep running. Hun, can you come take the power saver off that, please?
Yeah, right click on the desktop.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he's an IT major, so I don't worry about this. All right, we have the little stupid vestigial wings. Let's go ahead and give him a dragon tail. But we know basically where that's gonna sit. The reason I leave this open here is so I can tell where the color patterns are going to go across the belly. If your arm is there, a lot of times your arms are in the way and it blocks your shot. You can't actually see where 80s is. 80, raise your arm up. So you can tell where the belly patterns run. If the arm is actually there, you can't see it as well. From a maker's standpoint, this is easier. Because like if there's anything that goes into the armpit, you won't show it here, you'll show it from the side view. Some characters that have colors, like Mega Panther actually has the color that runs up on the inside of his arms and the inside of his legs. You'll have to show that in a different view. All right, we got big claws. Let's go ahead and give him a back claw there, just to be different.
One thing I noticed on a lot of fursuits is like no one can lift the arms higher than this.
There's a reason for that. Part of the reason for that is, one, now 80 can actually get them up as high as you can. Notice when she does this, it's pull. You're not gonna be able to get beyond that's close. It's pulling here. This is one big seam that runs down the entire length of the body. You physically can't. Its fur does not stretch. If it was like a cotton or an NFT fur, National Fiber Technologies, I believe is the name of the company that makes that. Those have stretch to them. NFT fur is also about
Four-way stretch fur.
yes, exactly. It's four-way stretch fur, but it's going to cost you about $75 a yard or higher. The only person I know that uses it on a regular basis is Lance Ikagawa, and for what he charges for suits, he can afford it. Thank you, sweetheart. You laugh, but he charges he starts at about $7,000 and goes up, and they're worth it. They're gorgeous. However, they're showpieces and not performance pieces. So that's another thing that you have to take into effect because it's going to be a showpiece or a performance piece. Most of Scribble Fox's work, everybody has seen Scribble Fox's work. Most of Scribble Fox's work are showpieces. They don't perform well. Not to knock Scribble's work, because he does really, really good work. Sinatra is actually the best example of a performance suit I've ever seen him do, and Sinatra is even had to have some repairs. Scribble doesn't make them to take the abuse that a fursuit takes on a regular basis. If you're just mascotting only at your con events, things like this, that's one thing, because you're going to use the suit 5-6 times a year. Okay? If you're somebody like, I know 80 does events at home for church, for the community. If it's a suit that's going to be used a lot, it needs to be built to to withstand a lot of abuse. Aren Studios actually does make mascots for corporate use. They actually use them around Canada and things for sport companies, schools. I think they have like a couple of cows that are like an ice cream or a dairy farm or something like that. I personally own a white fox head. I can drop that thing up and on the floor, jump up and down on it, and it does not cave in. It survives. I could bowl with that thing and it wouldn't do anything to it. It would be perfectly fine.
You wouldn't suggest it. You wouldn't suggest it.
I wouldn't suggest it. No, it'll get all dirty. But yeah, it's built to take a lot of abuse. And you have to think about it. Your major stress points, of course, are going to be along the neck and your head, because you're constantly pulling down on that to get it on. You're gonna have major wear points here and here. Because think about your legs rub together when you walk. No matter how skinny you are, when you're in fursuit, they rub.